Stakeholders have over the years called for the decongestion of the Nigerian Correctional Service with data on the summary of inmate population by convict and persons awaiting trial on the high side. Now, according to Rob Allen, a consultant on prison, probation and youth justice, overcrowding is defined as the percentage of the occupancy rate that is greater than 100%. The percentage of inmates held by the correctional facility defines the facility's occupancy rate and how overcrowded it is. Aside this, citizens are also worried about the state of the law enforcement agencies who arbitrarily arrest Nigerians and put them behind bars. The question on the mind of an average Nigerian is, when will this situation be brought under control? To discuss this, we are joined by a legal practitioner and public affairs analyst, Tohwo Oseruvwoja. He joins us from the United Kingdom. Hello, Tohwo. It's a pleasure having you this evening.
Thank you.
Now, is the overcrowding primarily due to convicted prisoners or those awaiting trial? There seems to be a confusion, on either. Or is it both?
Okay, well, if you look at the statistic given and the statistic on ground, you discover that the overcrowding is as a result of the awaiting inmates in the Nigerian correctional facilities. And what the stakeholder raised was issue of concern, because before I left for United Kingdom, I was the secretary of the Human Rights Committee of the Nigerian Bar Association Kano branch. And one of the things of concern as the Human Rights Committee secretary was, as a result, we realized that the numbers of awaiting inmates are like, let me use the word, are like 500% higher than the convicted inmates in prison. So you find out that some of them has even overspent the time stipulated by law, that if they found guilty, they would have spent in the correctional facility. So that is something that is worrisome. And it's not only the correctional facility, it's across all detention facility. Outside the correctional facility, you come to the detention facility, you see some people who have had cause to take over a case which is still ongoing, that they were kept in detention facility for 2 years until the disbarment of SACs that they were brought to court. So you could see that it's not only the correctional facility we're having this issue, but also even detention facilities across the law enforcement agency.
All right, now some stakeholders have called and have been calling for a while now for decongestion. Now, what are some of the strategies to address overcrowding in Nigerian correctional facilities?
The overcrowded facility, there are already laws put in place. As a matter of fact, if I may surprise, let me draw your attention to a provision of the law. If you look at section 18, subsection 1, paragraph C of the Nigerian Correctional Service Act 2019, it gives stipulation whereby the state controller of correctional facility in every given state has the duty to inform all the stakeholders, including the head of courts, whoever that are in the gateway of the administration of criminal justice in that particular state, to inform them that the facility that holds awaiting inmates is already overstretched. And he also has the right, after making that information, he also has the right to decline. Do you understand? To decline any awaiting inmate that is sent to him, that is sent to such facility. But the reverse is the case, because we have the law, but we don't have people who are accountable in making sure that the law is made as the force of law, or the purpose in which the law is made.
Okay.
So the issue is, it has already been addressed by the law. It's just the accountability and the responsibility of people entrusted with and the attitude of people entrusted with such responsibility.
Well, that seriously needs to be looked at. But again, the law enforcement agencies have actually been accused of arbitrarily arresting Nigerians. Now, can you analyze how these arrests might contribute to overcrowding, and what forms or what potential reforms could address them?
Okay, well, first of all, based on experience, you discover that it was even as bad. Thank God that there are some head of courts now, some chief judge of states who have taken the bull by the horn to see that some of these arbitrary, because behind this arbitrary arrest, there's also a conspiracy behind somebody from the bench. When I mean the bench, particularly the lower bench, through which because if you look at the awaiting inmates, you discover that majority of them, from what we observe, is from the lower bench, which is from the magistrate, the Sharia court, the courts that try some of these minor offenses, or those that are which they introduce, they call the holding brief, which is not allowed. Which is not allowed in the Nigeria judicial system. So now this is it. We are aware, and police, even the police, not only the police now, you could see in the news that even as far to some of these law enforcement agencies, they raid, not only raid, they also molest and harass citizens, breach their fundamental rights, and some of them, they don't even tell you the offense you are arrested for. And what they do, they keep you in custody, put a humongous amount of money to pay. Some of them, they will threaten the suspects not to engage the service of a lawyer, or they will frame charges against them. Then, during the weekend, they pack them to maybe a magistrate court they have good relationship with, or a Sharia court they have good relationship with, where bail conditions are extreme. That is extreme, that they could not meet, and they take them to the correctional facility. And you see, when you find out, when you call for the case file of this suspect, you discover that there is no case file, no statement has been taken, or just the statement of the suspect without the presence of a lawyer. Now, the reform, or how can this be done? There is a provision of the law. If you look at Section 34 of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act 2015, gives power to magistrate court, chief magistrate court, to inspect detentional facility, including the police cell, to determine if the people are held rightfully or not. And at the same time, if there is no divisional cell, if there's no chief magistrate in that particular area, the chief judge appoints a magistrate. That is one of the reforms. Then 2, there should be an accountability of officers on the people they arrest. You go to, when they arrest you, they expect you to say, okay, when you go to the police station, they say, wait for the officer that arrested you. It ought not to be so. There should be a process whereby there should be a checkmating and a safeguarding process where the officers who carry out arrests are accounted to, or are asked to give account why the person stayed more than 24 hours in custody.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Tohwo, for speaking to us on this, and we do hope that the right authorities put out or use some of these measures or benchmarks to be able to, track the progress and also reduce the prison populations in Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.